Good morning students. Welcome back to online teaching session of Academic World School Namitara. Once again I am here and today it will be the continuation of chapter number 4, heat, for grade 7. Now last day while doing heat we have seen the what is heat, units for heat. We have also seen temperature, units of temperature. The device that we use to measure temperature, that is thermometer. We have seen different types of thermometer, that is, if you remember, the types of thermometer are, first is clinical thermometer, which is also known as doctor's thermometer, then laboratory thermometer, the thermometer which is used only in laboratory. Then we have seen digital thermometer and we have seen maximum minimum thermometer. And we have also seen the scales that we use to measure in thermometer, that is the temperature that we use to measure in thermometer, that is Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale. Now last day I stopped, if you remember, I stopped where I have shown you the relation between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. This is the relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit scale, where my C standing for Celsius and F for Fahrenheit. C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. We will start our lecture from here to. So I suggest all of you to take out your copy and start taking today's notes, start taking this relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit, and based on this relation we will solve few sums today. We will start with numericals today. So C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. From here we can derive C, value of C. So what will be my value of C? You have learned cross multiplication. So my F is in denominator and my equal is the wall. This is one side of the wall and this is another side of the wall. When I have to find the value of variable C, I will take all the rest in the another opposite side. So keeping C at one side, as F is in denominator, when I will change its wall, it will go to numerator. So my C is equal to 5 multiplied by F minus 32, or we can, you all know that bracket means multiplication. 5 multiplied by F minus 32 by 9. This is my value of C. This is my value of C, from where I got my relation between C and F was C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. So keeping C in one side, I will take all the rest in another side. So my 5, as it was in denominator, when I change the wall, we do cross multiplication and it goes to the numerator. So it is equal to 5 multiplied by F minus 32 by 9. Now based on this sum, we will do, based on this relation, we will do one sum. All of you note down this formula and do the sum with me. Then I will give you few sums to do as homework so that you can practice. Suppose my question is convert 77 degree Fahrenheit to Celsius. This is my 77 degree Fahrenheit. Now I have to change the value into C. This I will use this formula. When I have to change Fahrenheit to C, I will use the formula where I have to find the value of C. So here C is equal to 5 in bracket, instead of F, what I will write? I will write 77. 77 minus 32 by 9. Now as we know, when we solve, divided by 9. 45 gets cancelled by 9. So 5 5s are 25 degree Celsius. This is my answer. So 77 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 25 degree Celsius. 77 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 25 degree Celsius. All of you have done this sum, copy this sum. We will do one more sum. Convert 68 degree Fahrenheit to Celsius. Same. I hope you have copied this sum, so I am erasing this. Same. In place of, this is my Fahrenheit, I have to change my F to C. So my value of C or formula of C is equal to F minus 32 by 9. So what will I do? Instead of F, I will put the value of F, that is equal to 68. So C is equal to 5. Inside bracket I will write 68 minus 32 by 9. And we will first solve the bracket. So I get 68 minus 32, I get 36. 5 multiplied by 36 by 9. 36 is divisible by 9. So I will cancel 36 by 9, that is equal to 4. 5 into 4 is equal to 20 degree Celsius. So my 68 degree Fahrenheit is equal to my 20 degree Celsius. This is my formula which I derived from the relation that C is equal to 5 multiplied by F minus 32 by 9. Next we will find the value of F. Next we will find the value of F. Now here what I have to do? I have to keep F at one side and rest all in another side. I will keep F at one side and rest all in another side. So what will I do? C multiplied by 9 by 5 plus 32 is equal to my value of F. C multiplied by value. So I hope you have understood this. How I have derived it? My 9, when I am changing its wall, I do the cross multiplication. So 9 into C. I am having 5 here. So 9 into C by 5. And here I was having minus 32. When I change the wall, it becomes plus 32. You have to remember, when I change the wall, plus becomes minus, minus becomes plus. Multiplication becomes division, division becomes multiplication. When I change the wall, the digit which is in denominator, it goes to numerator, and the digit in numerator comes to denominator. So here my digit is in denominator. So when I change the wall, it is going to numerator. And here it is in division form. So when I am changing, it changes to multiplication form. And my 32, it was minus 32. When I change the wall of 32, minus becomes plus. So it is plus 32. So this is my value for F. F value is equal to 9C by 5 plus 32. If I write it in easier way, F is equal to 9C by 5 plus 32. This is my value of F. Now we will solve sums based on how to convert my Celsius to Fahrenheit. Do first sum. Convert 45 degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. 145 by 5, so that's equal to 9. 9 nines are 81. 81 plus 32. So I get 113 degree Fahrenheit. So my 45 degree Celsius is equal to 113 degree Fahrenheit. One more sum we will do. Convert suppose 5 degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. Convert 5 degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. Or let me take it as convert 75 degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. What I will do? This is my formula to find out F. Instead of C, what I will write? I will write the value of C, that is equal to 75. So 9 into 75 by 5 plus 32. 15 5s are 75. So 75 is divisible by 5. 15. Now 15 into 9 plus 32. So we will get 15 into 9, it's 135 plus 32. So it's equal to 167 degree Fahrenheit. Clear? So 75 degree Celsius is equal to 167 degree Fahrenheit. Now when we will get the sum to solve, don't get confused. Just remember 3 formulas. I am writing once again. Please note it down in your copy. This is my first relation. This is my first relation where C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. From here, I derive the value of C is equal to 5 multiplied by F minus 32 by 9. From here I get the value C. And from here I get the value of F is equal to 9C by 5 plus 32. These are my 2 formulas where C is equal to this and F is equal to this. Whenever we will get any sum of conversion, the first thing we need to do is we need to by heart, we need to learn this 3 relation. If we learn this 1 relation, we can derive the other 2 from the same relation. Next, what we will do, whenever we will get any value, we have to see first on which scale we have to change, whether to Celsius scale or to Fahrenheit scale. Accordingly, we will use the formula. This is the relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit scale. Last time we have seen heat and temperature. So now if I say what is the basic difference between heat and temperature? The first difference is heat is a form of energy which flows from one body to another. And temperature, it is the degree. We can measure temperature, how much hotness or coldness a body is using the device that is thermometer. Now what is the unit for heat? The unit for heat is joule and the unit for temperature is either Celsius or Kelvin or Fahrenheit. Now with this we come to an end to our first objective, that is numericals. Now second is transfer of heat. We will see transfer of heat. As we know that heat is a form of energy, so it is flowing from one body to another. So heat gets transferred from one object to another. Now what are the steps or what are the process or what are the modes by which heat gets transferred from one body to another? We will see that. Again I am reminding you, I hope all of you have copied this formula. These are 3 very important formulas. we come to our next topic, that is modes of transfer of heat. As you know that heat is a form of energy which is flowing from one body to another. So there are different modes for this heat to get transferred. The modes for transfer of heat are write down this along with me. First is conduction. First is conduction. The term itself suggests conduct. Those objects which can conduct means which can allow the flow of heat from one object to another. It is conducting. So those objects which allows the flow of heat from one object to another, that is known as good conductors of heat. If you remember last day while teaching about thermometer, I told that the metal that is used is mercury. Why? Because metal is a very good conductor of heat, and secondly mercury is the only liquid metal. Why we are using metal? Because metal is a good conductor of heat. It conducts heat from one object to another. Now, what happens in conduction? Here, heat flows from hotter body to colder body. Suppose this is my iron rod. This is my iron rod, and inside my iron rod I am having my molecules present. This is my iron rod, and inside I am having molecules present, and I have kept a candle which is my source of heat. I have kept a candle here which is my source of heat. Now this is producing heat here. When this iron rod is heated, suppose the temperature here is 100 degrees Celsius and the temperature at this end is 20 degrees Celsius. So there is a difference in temperature. For conduction to take place, the first thing it requires is difference in temperature. Difference in temperature. So here it's 100 degree and here it is 20 degree. Now, what did I say? Here heat flows from hotter body to colder body. So here 100 degree means it is hotter, and here this is colder region. Now what happens? When heat is given, the molecules get activated. When the molecule is gaining heat, means heat is a form of energy. When it is gaining energy, the molecules get activated. As the molecules gets activated, the molecules is vibrating. As it is receiving energy, it gets activated, it vibrates. When it vibrates, one molecule vibrates its neighboring molecule. Gradually, it vibrates its neighboring molecule. Like this, the vibration is transferred from one molecule to another. This way, the heat flows from hotter body to colder body, and gradually overall iron rod will get heated. This is my conduction. Conduction means it is conducting those objects which are the good conductors of heat, that comes under conduction. What happens in conduction? Heat flows from hotter body to colder body. That means it requires difference in temperature. Here it is 100 degree because here I am having source of energy, and here it is 20 degree. gradually the hotter region, as it is receiving energy, vibration takes place. As it vibrates, gradually it passes to its neighboring molecules, and gradually this vibration passes on and it reaches till this end. Simpler example. Suppose in a class, in a row, 6 students are sitting one after another, and I ask a copy from the student sitting in the last bench. So what did he do? He will pass the book to the front. He will pass it to another sitting in front. Gradually, it will keep on passing, and the boy sitting in first bench will pass the book to me. So it is passing on from one to another. This is conduction. Now this conduction, we will see its application in our daily life. We use utensils or pressure cooker. Take the example of pressure cooker. I told that conductors are good. Conductors are the ones which transfers heat. Opposite is insulators, which do not transfer heat. You will see pressure cooker. It is made up of metal, and the handle, it is made up of black colored substance which is known as bakelite. When we put it on fire or oven, the body of the utensils gets heated, but if we touch the handle, we do not feel heat. We do not feel hot. Why? Because the body is the good conductor of heat. It gets heated and it passes the heat to the food, and we cook the food easily. The bakelite or the handle which is made up of bakelite, it is what happens when we hold it, as it is a bad conductor of heat, we do not get warm, we do not burn our hand. Another example, matchsticks. It is made up of, the body of the matchsticks is wood. Wood is also bad conductor of heat. So when the matchsticks get lighted, gradually it blows off. Why? The fire gets off. Why? Because wood is a bad conductor of heat. It do not transfer heat. This is my conduction, where first mode of transfer of heat is my conduction. Now I am coming to my second mode of transfer of heat, which is my convection. Now what happens in convection? Convection requires natural circulation of fluids. It requires natural circulation of fluids. Under this, we are having either liquids or gas. Means those which can flow. In solid, it cannot flow. The molecules are tightly packed. Here the heat flow from one molecule to another, but the molecules are having close bonding. But in case of convection takes place in fluids. What comes under fluids? Under fluids, we are having liquids and gas. Now what happens here in convection? Suppose I am having one beaker, and here I am having cold water. I am having cold water. I am having another beaker, where I am having hot water. I am having two beakers. One is cold water, another one is hot water. When water, flow of water. We know when anything gets heated, when the air or water gets heated, it gets lighter in weight. When it gets lighter in weight, the water, when we are boiling the water, at the bottom the water gets heated, it gets lighter, now it rises up. And the water at the top goes down. Heavier water goes down and lighter water goes up. Again, now the water which is coming down, now it gets heated, it gets lighter, it again goes up. And this circulation goes on. All of you can see this. Today only you can take some water in a vessel and put it for boiling. You will see that gradually water from the bottom will go up and the water from the top will go down. Why? Because when it is heated, it gets lighter and it rises up. The water at the top, it being colder, it is heavier in weight, it gets down. This is the principle for convection. Now what are the applications of convection in our daily life? We see that when we put AC in a room, when we install AC in the room, always we see that we fit AC at the top of the room. Never at the bottom, we put it at the top of the room. Why? Because the lighted air goes up and the cold lighted air, that is hot, heated air which is having high temperature air being lighted, it rises up. It gets cold due to AC, it comes down, it being heavier in weight. So the air in our surroundings, it is colder and it keeps us cool. So why do we fit AC always on the top? Because it takes the warm air being lighter in weight, it takes the warm air and the colder air comes down and keeps the room cool. The opposite, when we use room heater, we never put room heater at the top, we put it at the bottom in the floor level. Why? Because the warmer air goes up, it takes the colder air being heavier in weight and it changes the colder air to warmer air and it keeps the room warm. That's why we always have heaters and blowers in the ground level placed at the bottom so that the entire room can be warm. Whereas AC is always fitted on the top, AC or cooler is placed at a higher level so that what happens? Cooler air can come to the ground level and our surrounding will be cool. Now these convections are of two types. One is natural convection, another one is forced convection. Natural convection is the one which I gave you the example when we boil water. When we are boiling water, the water is getting heated and the circulation is taking place naturally. That is natural convection. And forced convection, where we are doing it by force. This, when we are using this AC, when we are using this heater, it is done by force. That is my forced convection. So convection, it requires natural circulation of fluids where liquids and gas takes place, and here the energy is transferred from hotter body to colder body. The next type is radiation. The next type is my radiation. So what happens in radiation? Here it is the medium is either fluid or gas. Fluid means either water or gas. Here the medium was solid. But in radiation, it requires no medium. It do not require any medium. Example, how does it happen? It actually depends on the nature of the substance and color of the substance. It depends on nature and color of substance. Nature and color of substance. What does it mean? Radiation, it requires no medium. Then how does it happen? It happens through electromagnetic waves. It happens through electromagnetic waves. What does it mean? Just away from us. There is a huge distance between sun and the earth. But still, sun is radiating. It is giving its heat to all the planets. We, being on the planet Earth, we are getting the heat of the sun. So how does it happen? The heat waves, the heat comes down, the rays of the sun comes through waves, through small energy packets. Through small energy packets, these waves are transferred. These rays are transferred in the form of waves and it reaches the earth. Just think about the light. We are having tube light and we can see the light here. How we are getting this light? This light is passing through waves. Same way in case of radiation, what happens? The sun, we are having sun here. Sun is giving its rays to planet Earth. In between there is no medium. In between there is no medium to bring these rays. This is what happens in radiation. Now here it depends on nature and color of the substance. Nature of the substance means whether it is rough or it is shiny and polished. If the object on which the rays are coming, it needs to absorb the heat. It needs to absorb. Earth absorbs the heat of the sun. So when the surface of the object will be rough, it will absorb more heat. When the surface of the object, that is nature of the object, will be shiny and polished, it will reflect back the heat. And when the color, when the substance or the object which is absorbing the color, it is dark in color, it is black in color, then it can absorb more heat. If it is lighter in color, like white in color, it will reflect the heat. That's why it is always suggested that in summer season wear lighter color clothes. Why? Because lighter color clothes cannot absorb heat much. So we will feel cool. But if we wear dark colored clothes, it will absorb more heat and we will feel hot. Opposite happens in winter season. If we wear more dark colored clothes in winter season, then it will absorb heat and it will keep our body warm. So for radiation, what does it require? It requires nature and color of the substance. Now you will observe that in many utensils, the base of the utensil is black in color. Why? The base of the utensil being black in color, it absorbs the heat. When it absorbs the heat, it gets heated up faster and the food is cooked quickly. Now these are the things which we need to keep in mind. So the modes of transfer of heat, one is conduction which happens in solid, one is convection which happens in fluids like water and gas, and radiation where it does not require any medium. So we have seen numericals today. I hope you have copied the formula, and homework based on those formulas will be uploaded in ERP, and these are the modes of transfer of heat. So with this I end up today's lecture, and the homework related or the assignment related to this topic is already uploaded in ERP. Kindly upload it and do it and show it to me after the school units. Thank you.